stand up to do this because it always feels kind of weird sitting down. I get so passionate. I want to. Yeah. So this is Karen. The first thing out of my mouth when I arrive at Daniel's school to take him home is straight from the book of bad parenting. What is wrong with you? Damn it, I think. What's wrong with you, Karen? He asks immediately. And I resist an urge, a truly terrible urge, to slap him right across the mouth. I'm a terrible parent, I think. I'm not cut out for parenting. I try to gather myself together. The heat of the case I had been arguing, Karen's a lawyer, the indignation, the adrenaline from the win, 15 years in prison, the frustration of having to pick up Daniel, Daniel is her younger son, so she's picking him up from school after he's done something frustrating. To pick up Daniel for something so callous, so beneath him, so disgusting, something that I will have to pay for in appearing to be calm and in control and fawning at parent-teacher conferences. Everything is coursing through me, becoming forward momentum, and I have to remind myself to take everything a step at a time, not to look at the big picture, to breathe slowly, calm down, and stop myself from reaching out, leaning forward and shaking him. My mother grew up in Ireland before she moved to Yorkshire and met my father, and I am unhappy to say I sometimes fall back on her old Irish Catholic parental tactics when I'm frustrated. It happens today, and I choose to inflict guilt upon Daniel in an attempt to make him feel sorry for hitting his teacher in the face with scissors. You know better than that, Daniel, I say, shaking my head. I'm so disappointed in you. I didn't hit her, he says. I touched her. I grab at his arm, attempting to pull him up, to get him out of the school before someone sees us, and he pushes me away. I often feel out of my depth with Daniel. It is possible that I would have felt exactly the same way had Max been normal, I suppose. But he wasn't. He was easy if you didn't think about his problem. He was perfect and reasonable and sweet to a fault, and sometimes I wish Daniel could be like Max. Cuddly, obedient, always close by. Everything is a fight with Daniel. Everything is a trial, and it all makes me think, reminds me that I think that I'm such a bad parent, such a bad mother. It reminds me of the conviction I had when we first found out Max was different from other babies, that I had failed as a mother, and that I wasn't cut out for the job. And I feel heartbroken again, like I'm back in hospital 16 years ago. Steve, my husband, says it's because I care so deeply about Daniel that I get so frustrated with him. If I didn't care, I wouldn't feel so irritated. It doesn't help when he points this out. I sit next to Daniel, exhausted. I didn't hit her, he says miserably. I study the mural of staff photographs on the wall. When Max went to primary school, there were 4 teachers in total, 3 class teachers and a headmaster. Now I count 24 teachers and support staff. Have children become exponentially worse in the 6 years between Max and Daniel? I imagine the support staff in a milieu are screaming, shrieking, hitting little terrors. Do you believe me? Daniel asks. I turn to him. I think about this for a minute. Yes. Daniel turns sadly toward the mural. Thanks, he says. We have to go home, I say suggestively, as if putting it on the table. It's just an option, my tone says. You can sit here for the next 5 hours if you want. Okay, he says. Suddenly the irritation turns a corner, and I feel a rush of empathy for Daniel. He's not easy, but it's not easy being him. He's awkward with everyone. He grew up too fast, having a much older brother. He talks like a mini politician because of his father. He's quick to anger, and he gets that from me. Max inherited all our best attributes, and Daniel all our worst. He's bright, but he doesn't have Max's concentration. He's a B+ student. He's obsessive-compulsive. Physically, he's small, inheriting his height perhaps from a mother's side, yet he's bony. He has my proliferation of childhood freckles and scrapes, an inherited tendency towards being bitten by mosquitoes, tripping and accidents. He once shot himself in the eye with a friend's BB gun, resulting in a nightmare trip to the hospital for him and Steve while Max and I waited at home. My funny little man, I think, looking at Danny's curly strawberry blonde hair. put my arm out spontaneously. The bottom length of it touches his shoulders, just fractionally, just the start of a hug, gently. My right arm goes around his front. I lean in to kiss his hair. Get off! Daniel shakes his head aggressively, hitting my teeth with his skull, lurching away from me. I cry out and my hand goes to my mouth. Come on then, Daniel says, sliding off the chair. He walks over towards the secure door. I take a breath. I tell myself it's going to be okay. We're going to go home, and I'll make dinner, and he'll calm down, and I'll calm down. I pick up my coat and walk over, touching the door release button high on the wall above Daniel's head. The doors are released for 5 seconds. We step through.